Hey guys, welcome back to the Gamer Guide channel. Today I'm going to be doing a walkthrough tour of my freighter, just to give you guys some ideas and show you what kind of endgame content looks like. Maybe give you some ideas or things you can do on your own freighter. So I'm going to start off by collecting frigate missions. Go through them pretty quick here and see what kind of rewards I get. I usually always send out these missions whenever I play, as long as the timer has reset, as it brings in a pretty good amount of money. This is pretty much how I make all my in-game cash. Instead of doing like Indian farming or crafting different stuff, stasis devices or what have you, this is enough money. And I really have all the ships and everything I want on this save file, so there's not really a need for huge sums of cash anymore, as I've upgraded everything and pretty happy with where the save is. So until some new content comes out, I'm pretty much just collecting both nanites, quicksilver, and units for whatever comes next. I'm kind of looking forward to the next season 9. And whatever 4.0 will bring out, if it's going to be a major expansion or addition to the game. I've actually left some room on my ship here just in case there's some new things for freighters. A little area to stick the new features in if we do get some. I suspect that the new features will, have some of the interface improvements, and I'm not sure what else to expect really from it. I think there might be some more sharing, multiplayer kind of stuff coming out in the next 4.0 expansion from what I've seen on rumors and stuff from other videos. Let's just see real quick. Yeah, I can send out some new missions, so I'll go ahead and do that. Just to show you guys real quick, all my frigates are S-Class. I've had time to play enough where they've all upgraded. So I have 3 organics, a recon, I have 5 supports, 5 trades, I have, looks like 4 industrial, 6 explorers, and 6 combat ships. So that's kind of the way I did my breakdown, and I'm pretty happy with it. I haven't had any failed missions in as long as I can remember. It's always successful the way I roll out my frigate missions. For this, I probably need like 2 combat fighters. It's a combat mission, obviously. Let's see, we'll do Explorer. We'll do a support, of course, and a trade. Just to kind of mix it up. Still makes it 5-star, still over 150 in frigate totals. So we'll go ahead and send us some expeditions. Like I said, the balanced ones are pretty easy. All my ships are good enough where you don't really have to be too particular. You just kind of go through and pick up what you want. Sometimes they'll throw in one of these organics or something because they bring back nice stuff instead of a support, which I think I'm going to do this time. And as you can see, I mean, easily 5-star. It says it's a 1-star. I thought this was a 2. But, okay. So let's go to Combat Patrol. Those are the next 2s. Again, you really don't need to overdo it. I'm just going to send out one of my top ships there. We'll send out an Explorer, an Industrial. As long as they have a little higher than normal stats in the combat department, I'm happy. Support, and we'll do recon. There we go. So still 137, which is great for a 2-star. Let's do the Voyager expedition next. We'll do 2. We'll send out 1 combat. Let's see, trade and support. And I think we're just going to throw both of our organics on the next one. So we got a balanced. Normally I don't do that, but this time I always like to send them out. We might as well do it. Got combat, and let's see. I think trade is, or industrial is weaker. So that's a pretty even keel. Okay, so now we got all of our ships set up for next time. And I'll usually save right now. I'm going to go ahead and sell my stuff. So this is part of the tour. I have the old school trade terminal, and that's actually from a mod I've used to bring it back in, because I had one originally in the ship. This ship is about 2 years old. I started it in 2020 during the pandemic lockdown, during March of 2020, I think it was. And so I left a lot of the things the same when they changed the interiors on freighters and just added to it. So you're going to see some old school freighter. You're going to see a little bit of new stuff too. Okay, so as you can see, we have our trade terminal here. In this room, I have changing station. This is one of many. This is my short room teleporter. I have 3 right now. Probably could put 4 in. My main teleport station's over here on the main deck. Of course, the bridge, you have your 5 different units. You saw that earlier. This is a place where debriefing and briefing would take place if they actually played that out. Yeah, there's a desk here and places for the crew of each of the missions to sit and talk about it. There's also a little overflow sales terminals here. Got some of my Gex here doing their job. And then this is the first place you can go out through the airlock in kind of the new ship parts and actually be outside of the confined ship. So if you wanted to take a look at space and just check out what the system looks like from outside, you can do that here. Anyway, let's head back in. That actually takes us to another part of the ship, so I guess we'll go this way. Another airlock. And then we have our industrial room. As you can see, I got tons of stellar core extractors. They don't really work right now. As you can see, like I only have 2 chromatic metal in this one, and I've actually been in this system for a really long time. So I think every time you log off, it resets it. So it's a little bit broken. This is sort of like the engine monitoring room in my ship. I just have AI basically running the engine room, but there's still a computer terminal interface here for crew. And I figured this is like an oxygen harvester. I thought it looked kind of neat with all the bubbles and stuff to oxygenate the air in here. We got a couple of storage rooms. And then this is going up to the second floor. My ship is a 2-floored ship. You saw the stellar extractor room in here. In here I also have refiners. And I think right now they're all working on glass. Nope, I guess I cleared it out. But there was glass going on there earlier. Let me show you the rest of the first deck and then we'll go upstairs. Now keep in mind, some of this now is modded, but a lot of this that you're seeing currently is just from my original ship. So all these storage units here, this is all from before the changes to freighters. And I made little offices or rooms for guests off each of these rooms. Not a lot to them. This is kind of the main office for the freighter area. And then another little guest room, I guess you could call it. This is one of the glass farms over here. So this is mostly a farming ship. This is all dedicated to glass, and it does use the new parts, of course, and carbon. So I made the walls slatted like this, as putting up more walls gives you more carbon. If you wanted to harvest it, you just come up here to these little buttons, and then you can collect carbon. And these are, I think, more efficient than silicate to make glass. So I just can do a bunch of this, harvest it up, and if I need to make some glass, I can run over here to this larger, finer room, another one, and throw the glass in here, or carbon if I need to make condensed carbon, and have it going. Got another airlock here before we go to the next part of the farm. This is something you probably haven't seen on another ship, but I have a cadet graduation ceremony area where when one of the cadets graduates and becomes part of my fleet, they would come here to get recognized. So got a lot of seating, and we got a podium for that. There's also a staircase that goes up to the security room for the second level, but we're going to take the second level here in a little bit. I guess we'll swing through and go to the next part of the farm. We got a storage unit here for some of the farming stuff. And then I have the exotic farm. This is part of the original old ship. And stuff that you really don't use in crafting recipes. So it's like, you know, Geknek, which you'll usually just sell outright or as contraband depending on the version you get. And you got your pearls. The cactus, I guess, is one exception to that. You actually do use cactus in crafting recipes. But a lot of the other stuff here, you don't. So, like this, and the gravitino balls and stuff like that, just kind of for fun. So, but we got quite a lot of it. And then again, this is linked up to that refiner room we saw earlier. So we got the, you know, glass and carbon room here. We got the exotic farm here, and then upstairs is the main farm. This isn't even the main part of the farm. But I think we're pretty much done. This is just a little kind of crew hangout area. If they wanted to take a break, they could come in here. So this used to be ramps up to the second level, but with the change to the game, it became ladders, which I just kind of used to my best ability and connected a lot of the new features off the old ship. But originally you would walk up a ramp to get to the second level. But this kind of worked for the ship that I have. Over here is the main farm, which is kind of the whole central reason I made this, is I wanted a massive base farm. So this is the old style farm, and this is all the different plants that people would use to make different recipes. And so, you know, for stasis farming, for making any kind of crafting recipes, this is pretty much all you'll ever need. And I like it because it just goes with me wherever I want to go. So I'm never without a base. Especially after the old update, one of my first videos for No Man's Sky where I showed off the trader station base I made. You know, they reset the game and I lost all that. I had to go back and rebuild it. So I'm hoping they never reset freighters to a point where you lose all your progress. And seeing as they just updated and they didn't wipe the old save, which I'm happy about, I feel pretty confident that this is a base I can take with me for a while unless they wipe the game completely. We got a lot of storage containers and stuff off here. Surrounding the farm, I have kind of a walkway that goes all the way around the ship. So each of these is different rooms. So here's one for changing station. If you had more than one person, you know, on your ship, they could come in here and simultaneously switch out their gear. So a lot of storage lockers and stuff to simulate areas they would keep their gear in. This is just an observation deck, and I really haven't finished it out yet. I was going to put a lot of seating and stuff in here, which I might still do. One of the problems I've had with this build is it's starting to lag down my GPU. I have a 1080 Ti, and it's starting to chug along. I had to actually turn down the graphics settings to be able to render this out a little bit better to show you guys, you know, what my base looks like. Over here on the other end of the walkway was my first restaurant. This is on the original ship, so you'll see a lot of the old base parts here. So this is a kitchen where people would make food, and then we have the bar. I did upgrade the seats and stuff when those came out, so this has been updated a little bit. We also have a place where, you know, you'd serve drinks. You got your new trash can. Originally this is all wall art, but since Windows came out, I've replaced it with Windows. It had a real orange theme going on in here, so I do like having the windows now. It's nice being able to look out and see what solar system you're in and some of the features of it and the colors and stuff. It just adds to it. So this is Cafe 42. My ship is called the Invoker, and its call sign is 41. And there's a reason behind that. It's kind of my own personal stuff, but yeah, so this is 41, the Invoker. So we'll continue with the tour here, but I thought it was kind of funny that Cafe is 42, so I figured, you know, they just did one more number in the series. And I think it's also what 42 is the answer to all the answers in the universe, or all the questions in the universe, and Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So I'm wondering if that's where they got Cafe 42 from. Probably. Anyway, we have our the Keen. So this is the weapons room, the armory, if you would call it. Before, he would be kind of in the middle of the room, but I modified this after the changes came out. So he's not at a desk anymore. He's got his own little drop-in, and then there's an extended office. By the way, earlier when we were outside, This is the ramp that goes down to the ceremony area on the ship. So this to give you kind of a bearing on where we are on the second floor. Okay, let's continue. Let's see, we came from that way, so we'll head down the hall some more. I just did some minor decorations, and this is again from 2 years ago. So some of this isn't perfect anymore, like this needs to be redone, where it's kind of clipping into the side with the changes they've made. This is the old ore refinery room, so you got a lot of different ore processors, and I probably should put another large refiner, but I'd have to use a mod to be able to add it to the game. So this has been stripped down a little bit, as there's new refiner rooms and stuff. I do like the efficiency of the old rooms better, because you can stick a lot more together. But yeah, the new ones do look neater, right? The new refiner rooms on the first floor. This is medical bay. You know, if you just, I just thought it looked cool. I think you need a hospital, you know, so you got one for your Korvax, and then if you have different casualties, like I said though, none of the ships have even had any damage in as long as I can remember. I mean, because my ship's been so built up. This is the harvesting room for the main farm, and also links into the rest of the ship, which I'll show you here in a second. We didn't really get to that, but there's a large area in the back for the, well, you'll see. So we have a carbon farm. I don't want to spoil it. This goes to the main farm, and you come in here, and of course short-range teleport if you just want to get to the farm quickly. That takes you back down to the first floor. We have your stockpile of farming goods, and, you know, of course, in theory, this would all go to, like, the restaurants here or be exported through the market. This is the crew's quarter. So you have a lot of beds, and this is, again, from years ago. So all these parts are kind of original base parts. And back in the day, my theme was more green than blue. Kind of switched my theme out because a lot of the Sentinel parts are all blue. So I changed my secondary color to be, instead of black and green, black and blue, just to kind of go with the Sentinel drone and the walkers and all that stuff. Alright, and this is a little offshoot to the bathroom. This goes out into the deck. Yes, we actually do have a bathroom. This is an old bathroom. So the parts here, even the faucets and all, were made up of parts existing at the time. And I probably won't change it. It's just a reminiscent thing. These are supposed to be like hot tubs. And then we got our toilets over here. So a couple seats that I thought looked a little toilet-like with toilet paper rolls as the white light. I was trying to be creative. And then there's another entrance to the bathroom. Newer sinks here, and this is from the update. Trash can. And then this takes us into what is going to end up being probably some more crew quarters. So this is not finished out, but that would be one of the guest rooms too. And this gives us a lot of windows and has staircases going down to the first floor. But here's something I had to use for mods, and probably one of the coolest features of my ship. This is the Atrium, and I was got to make it a larger than 2-story expanse, but because of my graphics card again, I didn't want to make it so bad where everything would chug every time I came in here. So I've left it 2 stories, but we do have a walkway on the first story. I left all the staircases inside the ship interior. As you see, this is kind of an exterior space, but I wanted to make it look as much interior-like as possible, so I didn't put any external stairs or anything that would kind of take away from that illusion. As you can see, I have some regular base parts, so you have to actually run a mod, PC only, of course, to get this to work. But as you can see, I have kind of the stone structure. This is actually my house, the captain's house, I guess you'd call it. And I have an atrium with a lot of plant life and stuff. I just wanted something that was a little brighter and not so steampunk-like as a lot of other people's rendition of a multi-story ship interior. I've seen a lot of steampunk builds. So I did something more a little green, a little brighter, a little more open, trying to use more light to fill it out. And depending on where you are in the galaxy, of course, you'll have more or less light. So, but as you can see, this is all window parts. So you come in here, you can see out the ship that I put in. It's actually the old base parts from before they even changed the base parts. So this is all the metal clear glass panels, and then on the side too, I link those up. So down here we have, you know, the atrium with a lot of plant life, things I've unlocked, and I have kind of different biomes in each of these containers. And the new grass really fits well with this, as it kind of covers up that the dirt is basically just stone tiles. And then there's my house down here. I also have a large open area on the other side, which I have as a soccer field right now, but I'm kind of leaving it open, and I want to add a lot to it in case there's some new features to come up. But as you see, we have my house, so it has the living room you come into, dining room. You have a little kitchen area. And then there's a downstairs too, which is actually bigger than the main floor. We have a music room, which I haven't really got into, so I left the music shut off. But it is kind of fun. I'm sure I'll play more with the byte beat, so I wanted to do something where I could do that. These actually don't work on the ship. They're not hooked up, but I thought it was kind of neat having a stack of speakers. A little living room area. And then in here, we have kind of the master bedroom's private hangout. And then the actual bed area itself is in here. So, as you can see, you know, graphics are kind of chugging along. Some of these things take a second to populate. Even the doors glitch out a little bit. Closet under the stairs. And little save area, so if you want to save your game in the back of the base, you can do that too. But this is probably one of my favorite things on my ship build right now. It's, that's new. Is this the multi-story glass atrium, I call it. But it's a large open space. I wanted to add some green to it. I wanted to have like an actual land base you can take with you too, because I really like the aesthetics of the stone in these particular building parts. I think it looks neat. It's kind of a southwestern feel. So as you can see, I put a lot of cactuses and succulents and stuff out here to make it look a little more desert-like, and a couple alien plants that I like that one there. So this is another restaurant I made in here. It's even more farming stuff. It's just all mushrooms, because you make a lot of the food stuff out of mushrooms. So if you wanted to cook up a bunch of mushroom stew, you can do that here by harvesting these. And then up on the second level, this is also kind of new, but it's a lot of restaurant seating. And more carbon farm and stuff in here, but it just goes around. You have a counter area too if you want to come in. Second bar in the second restaurant. And then this is the kitchen. So it does use some of the new kitchen parts and the burning barrels from this last expedition. But the idea is, you know, if you wanted to cook up a bunch of meals, this is a good place to come and do it in the back of the ship. So that's pretty much it for the tour. I'm trying to think if there's anything I've missed. So it's a really big ship, so it'd be really easy for me to miss something. But I think you've seen most of it. And I mean, I could make it bigger. I know this thing goes up to at least 5 stories, but like I said, unless I have a 380 card or something like that, like I'm using a 1080 Ti, but unless I had a 380 card, it'd be a little ridiculous to try to do that. Oh, I do have another vintage trade terminal up here if I wanted to sell, and you know, another little save point and all that. So it gives you multiple places in the ship to save your game. This is a little advertisement here for the restaurant. And anyway, that's it. That's my ship right now. I'm probably going to add more to it or change things when 4.0 comes out, as I suspect that they're going to add something for multiplayer, like multiplayer warp ports or something like that. So if people want to come on board your ship, or you wanted to go visit their settlements, it might be easier to do that. This is my speculation. Here we have a little soccer area, if you're wondering what this is, and we have a couple goals. So it's a recreation zone. I haven't really seen that on ships before, you know, having a recreation area. But you got a goal here, goal on the other side. You could also use this open space as like a farmer's market, which I thought about doing for, you know, interplanetary trade. If people want to come on board and you wanted to set up your different farmer market stalls, this is a good place for that. But right now it's a recreation area for the crew. And a nice place to come if you just want to check out what's going on outside the ship. I guess there is also a rear deck, which I really haven't done too much with, but You can come out here outside the airlock, and this is all deck on the back. And as you can see, I've kind of built my house, I built the restaurant and everything into the back window. So I think it looks kind of neat. But yeah, so there's windows into the restaurant. This is another airlock that goes into that restaurant too from downstairs where the mushroom farm is. There's into my private quarters with the music room and everything. So you can kind of see from that vantage point. And then another airlock here that goes into stairs. This deck doesn't wrap around. This is actually as wide as you can build. So if I had a little bit more room, I might wrap the deck around, but I wanted more interior space than exterior space. And kind of to chop the decks up too a little bit. There are some private crew quarters here. This one I haven't finished, but I'll throw some stuff in there. This one does look like I did something with it, so, you know, if I have a guest over, there's bedrooms. Ample bedrooms on board the ship. But that goes back into the glass farm. This is the staircase again to take you up to the second level. Instead of using ladders, it's nice to have that option. Back into the atrium. I guess we'll head back up to the front. But that's been pretty much the extent of my ship tour. Hopefully you've got some ideas. I know I haven't seen an atrium or like a soccer field on anybody else's freighter that I've seen in videos, so that's kind of new. I have seen plenty of people with like hospitals on board, and even another ship or two with bathrooms. So that's not necessarily something creative, but I don't think I've ever seen anybody with an atrium or with a soccer field. So and maybe you guys have your own unique rooms you can add. But yeah, that's it. This is back at the front of the ship where all the magic happens. And I guess you know what I could do as an extension to this tour? I could show you my ships. So we'll go down to the hangar. I'll show you what ships I have. They're all pretty much finished up with the exception of maybe one or two. I know the living ship I still have a little work to do on. And this one here, the mini-mites, as they call it. It's one of my fighters. I'm kind of a fighter collector. But this one has a couple things I still need to do to it. So Mini-Mite, pretty much finished out. You know, this is done. I could probably min-max this a little bit better if I wanted to. But I'm pretty happy with it. Yeah, I think I did actually finish out the cargo on it. So that's that one. Exotic ship, I actually don't use this one very much. It's one of my least used ships, but the Void Dancer. This one is tricked out. I think it's got everything. The shield, Dyson pump is a cool weapon for depleting shield, and it's got the phase beams for recharging shield, and also the scatter blaster, or whatever you want to call it. They call it something else on this fragment supercharger. But yeah, this is tricked out. As you can see, it's pretty fast, 923, 2583. Believe it or not, this is not my fastest ships, though. I have ships that are way over 1,000, and I could make it better by putting illegal parts, illegal upgrades instead of S-Class. I just haven't got around to it. Owl of Legend is actually one of my newer ships and one of my favorites. It's pretty fast. It's 1178 for speed, which I like, fast ships. And then hyperdrive is great, 3692. So if I ever want to go trek around the galaxy, and I also just like the orange and white paint job. I think it looks really cool. Dyson pump for depleting shields, and then I used the Razor photon cannon just because I already had one as a secondary weapon. But honestly, you don't do too much fighting in this game. This is a pretty peaceful game, so it's a lot of exploring. Rocket launchers I use on pretty much all my ships, as they're a great way to clear out sentinels in your settlement. Just like fire one rocket on the town center and they're all dead. Or also sentinel pillars or towers. You can fire a couple rockets and take out pretty much all of the sentinels. So you'll see this rocket launcher in pretty much all my ships. So I think it's an underrated weapon because people just look at stats and they don't think about application all the time. So those are 3 of my ships. Let's take a look here at one of my favorite ships on this account. I actually have another Nautilus or Squid ship On another count I'm working on that actually is my fastest ship. This one's not bad though, it's 1204, and I could make it faster if I upgraded these pulse engine drives to illegal ones and min-maxed it out a little bit more, but 1204 is pretty respectable for a simple S-class upgrade, as those are a lot easier to acquire than getting like a super duper awesome roll on a illegal. It could take a really long time. But 1204, good hyperdrive at 2391. I like the way it looks, you know, kind of purple and yellow. It's a little exotic looking. So yeah, that's one I fly pretty often. One of the newer ships I have is the Blue Streak, and Blue Streak's real fast too, 1221. Also good hyperdrive range, and I like the way it looks a lot. So a big fan of that. It's a little less built out in the way of weapons. I wanted more space for cargo. So this one's using the Infra Knife, which is a great weapon, and missiles as a secondary. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I have the Golden Vector, which a lot of people have from the first expedition. Golden Vector is of course great. You got your phase beams. I got the Infra Knife as a secondary weapon. Actually, it looks like I have a little bit more build out to do on this one. So this is one that I haven't finished. I could put some landing stuff here, which is missing, but I'll probably run that, finish that up by adding 3 more of these launch pad improvements, and actually this could use S, so there's actually some work I still need to do on this ship. But it's 1139 for speed, hyperdrive's decent, 1548. I actually don't fly it that much, but it is kind of a piece of history from the game. So that's 6. There's actually 9 ships I have though, so let's see which ones we're missing. The living ship, so we'll take a look at that. This is one that I'm still working on, as living ship parts are kind of slow, and actually the expansions, expansion sacks, whatever they're called, those are kind of hard to get. So I have expansions I haven't even used, just because I need more sacks to upgrade this. But it's not bad. It is the slowest ship I have at 613 maneuverability. I don't actually fly it that much, but it does have better than normal hyperdrive. And it's unique, you know, looks different than any other kind of ship. Just have one of these though. Not a huge organic ship fan, but this one with kind of the white and platinum glowing look, I thought looked pretty slick. So let's go to the next one. Pride of the Euclid. Yeah, this is one of my first ships. It's a fighter. I like the way it looks a lot. It's cool. I don't fly it that much anymore, but it's over 1,000, pretty fast, 1621. Nothing to write home about as far as warp goes. So I probably will fly the Owl more often than one of these. But I mean, it's pretty good as far as weaponry goes. If I need to go fight some pirates, this would be a great one to take out. It has the positron ejector, it has the phase beams, all that good stuff. Pretty much completely built out, unless I wanted to switch the S-class upgrades to illegals, which are better than S-class if you get the right roll. But like I said, I'm pretty happy with this. It does what I need it to. And let's see, I think I only have one more ship to show you, and I know which one that is. It's my white fighter. This one. Liberator of the Euclid. So you got Pride of the Euclid and Liberator. It's another one of my oldest ships. Again, Infra Knife, the main weapon, and second Positron, which are 2 of the better weapons. You see a lot of these I have lots of extra cosmetics. These actually do help. This improves your pulse drive when you get polo and you add each of these temporal Starship trails after it. It actually boosts your maneuverability. That's how it's easy to get over 1,000 for each of these. And then the Atlas figurine, that actually improves your warp. So 1585 and 1178 on both these. And then good damage potential too, you know, off the infrared accelerator. We got 41,893 for DPS and 12,000. So this is just built out more here on the side. Again, the rocket launcher, we have the photon cannon, which I really don't use, but it's there. I don't think this is something you can delete unless you mod. So, and then you got your shield. So this is a cool looking ship. Like it because it's white. You know, it has the antimatter trail and all that, which kind of goes with the exhaust on it. So anyway, I think that pretty much concludes my tour. I don't think I missed any of my ships. I think that's all 9 that we looked at. Golden Vector, Blue Streak, the Owl Legend, some Minimite. Yeah, like I said, I actually do have faster ships on other saves and stuff like that. Like I have a squid ship that's up at 1655 on the save I'm playing a lot right now. But I'm happy with what I have, and so I'm not probably going to ever switch these ships out. I'll just leave them the same on this. If they give us some more slots, I might add to it, unless I find something really awesome, or they put some new ships out, and I decide I want that. But lately I've just been flying the Owl Legend. It's kind of my preferred one because it has good maneuverability, but it has such great warp that if I'm not warping from my freighter, that's given me about the same range as what my freighter can currently do. I know I can upgrade my freighter upgrades more. Like if you look here on the freighter, I have some upgrades here from doing missions in a S-class only dropped system. And in TAC you see it's completely full. And my fleet coordination 48-7, I've never had a problem as far as having any missions that were not successful as long as I'm over the star quantity that the mission requires. But yeah, so 3862, I've definitely seen other starships with better warp capability, but I'm perfectly happy with 3862. That's far enough for me. And then, you know, the look of this, it's kind of that Star Destroyer look, which I like. I guess we'll go back up to the bridge and save, but thank you for joining me and checking out my freighter. Hopefully it's given you some good ideas, and I guess also checked out some of my fighters. But hopefully it's given you some good ideas for your own playthrough of No Man's Sky and things you can do in your freighter if you're looking for ideas. So anyway, I usually save in here, and that's it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.